What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of Daily Dose of Stupid. This time around, I felt inclined to make a video on the Arcane Lineage video that I did a little while ago. Well, it'll be a little while ago for you, but it was pretty recent for me, and it was mostly because there was a lot of infighting in the comments, and a lot of people supported me, which was surprising because I'm used to just kind of getting blasted every time I put these things out, especially considering that whenever I criticize games, people take it as if I'm like insulting their firstborn child or something. They are not happy about it. But generally speaking, there was some good stuff in here, especially people just like dismantling the people in the comment section for me, which I thought was really funny. So I wanted to showcase a few of those because, like, I gotta highlight you guys when you can. I have some qualms with my general community as a whole, especially when it comes to a certain game that starts with a Y. But this time around, you have my back. So thank you, and let's get into it. The first little comment chain that we're going to be covering has a comment from Key25362, who says, "Love it when devs expected you to know that meditating on a random ass carpet and talking to some goofy ball is required to level up. Peak design." Yeah, you said it. But of course, someone had to come quickly to the defense of Arcane Lineage by saying, "Oh well, same as when you need to sit at a random-ass campfire in Deepwoken to heal, bro. Same thing, especially if we ADE autodidact points to that." Now, if you've played Deepwoken, you would know that that makes absolutely no sense because those things are covered in the tutorial, and Klessy Wessy knew that and said, "The tutorial in Deepwoken literally explains all the basics, including that." Yeah, Deepwoken does actually have a tutorial. Is it a good one? Not really, no. It needs a lot of work. But here's the thing. The people behind Deepwoken acknowledge that their new user experience isn't good. They acknowledge it and admit that it's not a good thing and it's something that they want to fix. I cannot say the same for the owner of this game, who we'll be getting into later, but just the fact that they've acknowledged it to begin with is obviously massive. But then when you also consider the fact that this person is just like grasping at straws, as if we're playing some sort of like Deepwoken versus Arcane Lineage game. We're not. We're not playing that game. I used Deepwoken as clickbait to get people to click on my video. I talked about it like once, and the reason I talked about it was because I was talking about the fact that Deepwoken actually has a tutorial, but it's still not good, and this game should have learned from the fact that Deepwoken's new user experience wasn't good, but chose not to, and clearly you missed that. The next chain starts off with Burner135, who says, "Is, quote, little hand-holding, end quote, supposed to be an excuse for mediocre game design? These days, and on Roblox, absolutely 100%. The amount of games you can find where it says, this game doesn't hold your hand, and then it's literally just a crapshoot, tells you nothing, and expects you to go to a wiki or a Trello. Yeah, you know. But some absolute just fucking dipshit came to the comments and said, "No hand-holding is the point of the game Skull Skull." So we already know how old this kid is. "It's called roguelike for a reason." Wait, what? Do you know what that word means? Hang on, 1 second. Roguelike, plural roguelikes. Any of a genre of computer role-playing game loosely characterized by various characteristics such as randomized environment generation, permadeath, turn-based movement, text-based or primitive tile-based graphics, and hack-and-slash gameplay. Does that sound like what you're describing? 'Cause it sure as hell doesn't to me. I think that you just don't know what that word means, and you were like, "That's a buzzword that means no hand-holding. Let me put that in there without doing any further research." And, unsurprisingly, I'm not the only one who thinks this guy's an idiot and actually knows what those words mean. Historic Flame 972 says, "My game is allowed to suck because I put a genre on it that I don't even understand myself," in quotes, which is perfect. I couldn't have summed that up better myself. But just to sort of rub salt in the wound, Adam Clark 7072 says, "Dead Cells is pretty self-explanatory. It's a roguelike. Binding of Isaac is pretty self-explanatory. It's a roguelike. What's your point?" He doesn't have a point, Adam and Historic Flame. There is no point here. He just put a word there because he wanted to defend his favorite game, but didn't think anything through more than, maybe if I put this word that nobody seems to understand, they just won't get it and they'll assume I'm right. We get it, and you're not right. I'm sorry. Next chain starts with P26091, who says, in quotes, "Bunny clips! The game, it's fun after 50 Wikipedia searches in 617 hours!" Which, yeah, I got a fair few of those comments, because of course I did, even though I told people not to, but whatever. And some fucking moron comes in and says, "Bro, the Trello." Ugh, my brain. And of course, MiniNoob22 says, "This is exactly the problem. You shouldn't have to research something about a game to progress or even have fun in it. That's called bad game design." Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. You're learning. Thank you, guys. How could you like have watched? I mean, clearly this person didn't watch the video. There's no way. I mentioned specifically in the video that you shouldn't have to look things up. And maybe this guy is just so unbelievably dense that he thinks that when I talk about wikis as like a blanket statement, I'm not including Trellos as if it isn't just the same shit. Don't know. Stupid. Don't know. So this is a good one. I can't vouch for the validity, obviously. I assume this is true just based on the facts of them talking about it, and I don't really see how they could make up something this complicated and lie about it, and it's also been corroborated by some other commenters. It might just be some disinformation running wild, but I kind of doubt it. And this comment is from the Dabismay61, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, and it says, "So, just a little story here from the owner and Trello team. Nuova, the owner, released 2 marks, which are basically a slot-connected skill tree type of thing. At first, the Trello team, which is disconnected from the game because the game literally does not give you anything to work with and there's still a potion that we haven't found the recipe for, was busy figuring out how to get one, and they figured it out. Hooray! Then, all of a sudden, Nuova updated the game, and suddenly the mark seems unobtainable, sometimes, and sometimes not. The Trello team reported this to Nuova, and he said, quote, "You guys did the steps wrong." Then the Trello team went on a hunt for the, quote, "missing steps" or "wrong steps," and same result. This went on for about 3 days where the Trello team was trying to find out what is wrong with the mark quest and finding nothing while having to deal with major item losses. Drops that have an unspecified drop rate, so it might as well be a 1% or 5% chance. At the end though, the Trello team realized it was actually a bug that was connected to the slot version. And to quote the Trello itself, "The community went, pardon the French, apeshit." They were right. The dev was wrong. All those hours and artifacts wasted, only time would tell if the developers would fix this. So, what did Nuova say? Quote, "Nuova Prime, the 2nd of February 2024 at 10:57 p.m. Not gonna lie, I don't care right now about Patent being bugged. Someone else can look at it." Too long didn't read. Very hard obtainment thing was bugged. Trello team tried to see what was wrong. Dev denied that there was any bugs. Trello team did literally everything for them. Dev went, "I don't care." Oh man, this is just like, we're just digging the grave deeper at this point. That's a yikes. Freak Show Gaming 859 said, "Okay, which goober unironically suggested this to Eclipse? Throw them into Daily Dose of Stupid." And I didn't throw any of the people who suggested the game to me in Daily Dose of Stupid, mostly stemming from the fact that a lot of people suggest me games because they know I won't like them. And I've had people try to bait me by saying, like, "You'll love this," and then I can clearly tell that it's garbage and they want me to shit on it. But some people are just flat out honest and they're like, "This is a terrible game that you will hate. Go play this." So I had this suggested a bunch to me. It's not just like one person. A bunch of people suggested this game. I can't remember for the life of me how many of them were trolling, how many of them thought that I would just take a dump on it. I have no idea. But I didn't put anyone in the Daily Dose of Stupid that suggested the game to me, mostly because so many people have so many different reasons for it that I can't justify putting anyone in under those sort of pretenses. Now here's some more owner of the game nonsense that I can't. It's funny. Somebody screenshotted this from the game's Discord and sent it to me, and I got a good laugh out of it. So I assume, based on the little cutoff of the above, that it's a link to the video I put, because that red little line usually means that. And the owner of the game says, Eclipse playing the game for 10 minutes and lacking the critical thinking to talk to NPCs near spawn to learn how to play the game. People that call games like Arcane Lineage or Rogue wiki games are those who can't enjoy exploring games for themselves. If you want to use a wiki because you're too lazy to try and figure out the game for yourself, sure, go ahead. You're the one ruining the game for yourself. It's like playing Elden Ring off a wiki. Now, I don't know if Nuova, the guy who owns this game, knows that Elden Ring has a tutorial. I haven't even played Elden Ring, and I know that Elden Ring has a tutorial. But Elden Ring has a tutorial, buddy. Anyways, point here being, do you understand how many people in your community fully admit to using Trello's wikis or friends in order to tell them how to play? Like, literally all of them, brother. How tone deaf do you have to be to tell yourself that there is almost anybody that is playing this game without using outside sources to figure out how to play? I've had countless people tell me about just how much worse that this stuff gets, how it's borderline impossible to figure this stuff out without using a Trello, unless you want to sit there and trial and error things for hours and hours and hours and hours, which, newsflash, buddy, isn't fun. And the reason you might think it's fun is because you already know how it works, because you made the game, dipshit! What an idiot. This guy is a moron. Off the topic of the moronic owner of the game, and we move over to someone where I just almost don't understand this. And starting things off, they said, this was a pretty good video. Thank you. Overall, it covers how terrible the developers are at being consistent in the game and the lack of new player friendliness. Okay. However, like they said, this is a roguelike game. Oh no, here we go again. I do agree that there needs to be some kind of tutorial implemented, as it would be so easy to make Raffion, the ball of light in the beginning, give you a tutorial, but other than that, literally 3/4 of this video were you complaining about the lack of hand-holding. Dude, I like your videos, I think you cover games pretty honestly and well, but holy, you were just yapping over the same issue. If you really want to get into the game, it is not going to hurt you to take 5 seconds out of your day to check the Trello. It's the same with Rogue, the same with Deepwoken. You have to figure out the game, whether it be on your own or through the help of others. As for the 3,000 people currently playing, it's pretty obvious there's an established player base who understands the game. Understanding the basic concepts, possibly with the help of the Trello, it really isn't that difficult. So I responded to this comment and I said, you should never have to use a wiki or Trello to understand basic fundamentals of the game. Because at the end, despite them saying there should be a tutorial, they told me to go use the Trello anyway. Don't get it. And then they responded and they said, yes, and I totally agree with that part. Like I said, a tutorial is needed. These developers simply are too lazy to give new players the required experience. And then didn't respond to anything else. So I actually did some small amounts of math here, because I literally spent 3/4 of the video complaining about the lack of handholding, which didn't sit right with me because that's just objectively not true, which means you either didn't watch the video or, well, I don't know. So here's a little flowchart for you. At the beginning of the video, I spent 3 minutes talking about the horrible new user experience. So that's fair enough. You know what? I spent time talking about it because of course I did. After that, I spent 1 minute talking about leveling and NPCs not telling me shit, which I don't think that talking to an NPC, having them tell you you're too weak and then nothing else, really counts as not hand-holding. That's just not telling you anything. That's not hand-holding, that's just basic design. If you have an NPC and you talk to them and they give you literally nothing to work off of, that's a problem. Like, what are you even supposed to assume? What context clues are you supposed to be able to use at that point if they've given you nothing? Then I spent 4 minutes after that talking about permadeath, which is not handholding, the map, not handholding, and enemy encounters sucking and taking too long to get access to, not handholding. After that, I spent 2 minutes talking about terrible and non-existent quest UI. Neither of those are handholding. Those are just straight up problems with the game. I don't know how you could misconstrue those as handholding. What? So I shouldn't be able to know how much progress I have towards my quest, despite the fact that the game knows how much I have on my quest and the NPC knows how much I have on my quest? And then when I finish the quest, it tells me I'm finished? That counts as handholding now? Is that what you're telling me? No, it doesn't. And then after that, I spent 2 minutes of closing thoughts, which I guess maybe you could say I was talking about handholding because, well, I mentioned it in the closing thoughts. Of course I did. It was part of the video. I summarized the video. So if we do some quick math, about 23%, or I guess if we round up 25%, if you want to be generous, of my video, or 1/4, was talking about the new user experience and handholding. So where the fuck did you get this 3/4 idea from? You just made it up! I don't know. Moving on. This next one says, pretty hilarious how Eclipse talked to every single NPC in the starting town, except the tutorial NPC right next to where the player spawns. And it got a response from Tyon4187 who says, there is no indication as to which NPC is the tutorial NPC. So much so, in fact, I didn't even realize there was one until I saw this comment. There were a lot of comments about the fact that I missed the tutorial NPC. Let's talk about that, shall we? Thankfully, because I'm recording this so soon after I put that video out, I still have the footage of when I played. That footage that, mind you, is over an hour long because I played the game for over an hour and not 10 minutes. Sorry, Nuovo, who doesn't understand how video creation works, but newsflash, 10-minute videos does not mean that I played for 10 minutes. Dumbass. Anyways, point is, I can show you, number one, that when you first spawn into the game, it spawns you away from the tutorial NPC. Huh? Why? How fucking stupid do you have to be to make a tutorial NPC that spawns behind your character? What? Yeah, you know what you could have done? You could have taken this guy and you could have moved him to the light post that's in front of your character! You idiot! I also have a myriad of footage of talking to a shitload of NPCs. So as I'm talking right now, you'll be seeing footage of me talking to NPC after NPC after NPC after NPC, because contrary to popular belief, I talked to a lot of them. And newsflash, when you put in a shitload of NPCs, it's like looking for a goddamn needle in the haystack in order to talk to the right one that actually tells you what the fuck you're doing. And when you put that NPC behind the character, you're gonna go and talk to everyone else. Because why the fuck would your first instincts when you spawn in go, hey, look, the tutorial NPC. No, you're not gonna do that. That's not reasonable. I don't know how anybody on the history of planet Earth could think that putting the tutorial NPC behind where you spawn instead of in front was a good idea. I don't have a fucking clue, but it's moronic. It's just moronic. And then this last one, I think, just encompasses a lot of the people that are playing the game right now. And so I wanted to leave it on here just because, well, I'm pretty sure this is what's going on. I can't be 100% sure, but just for reference, well, you'll see. So this person sent me a Discord DM and they said, hi Eclipse, just wanted to say, love your content, but I wanted to leave some remarks about the Arcane Lineage video. I'm not going to defend the looking up online to figure out what to do argument, as that is just simple for a game to have a tutorial. Yep. I will agree that the unclear tutorial instructions are a problem, which I think is caused from lazy devs. But my one point I wanted to make about the video was this game is not intended for solo play, but a party playthrough. The game is just not as fun or as engaging playing it solo. Am I saying that playing solo should invalidate the play experience by limiting the amount of fun you should have? No. I would compare to Minecraft in a sense, where you could play it by yourself, but a group is just way more fun. Also, I feel like this game is for more of a teen-plus audience. Even though Roblox's player base is mostly children, this game is just not for them. The game gets extremely more complicating, that's a sentence, the more you play. Overall, as someone who has put probably over 100+ hours into the game, do I think it's a new player-friendly experience? Definitely not. But for watching you for over multiple years, I think this game was just not right for you. Do I appreciate you calling out the faults of the game, hopefully making the devs see them? Well, they saw them and they don't give a fuck. Yes, but I think this game was just not meant for some people. Hope you're having a great day or night. Can't wait for the next uploads. And the thing is, obviously, based on the way I read this, and if you are paying attention, this is a pretty level-headed person. I think they're just maybe not considering a few things, and so I almost didn't blur their username and their profile picture, but I've not done that in the past with people where it was kind of on the edge and then I got a whole bunch of shitstorm drama from it, so not gonna do that this time. It's just not worth the risk. But I don't think that this person is just flat out stupid. I think that they're a little misguided. And I responded to them and I said, the game itself fails at hooking the player. I gave Final Fantasy VII a 10 out of 10. I'm not someone who doesn't or cannot enjoy turn-based strategy games, or someone who cannot enjoy games that expect you to figure out things for yourself. The only reason that you would play a game like this for 100 or more hours is that you either totally lack access to the surely hundreds of top-tier turn-based RPGs out there, or, well, no, that's it. The game fails on so many levels that it quickly deems itself just simply not worth playing. And it seems like I pretty much hit the nail on the head right there, because they said, I mean, yeah, Arcane Lineage is my first turn-based game, except probably Undertale, but that was when I was little. It might be because I haven't experienced any other turn-based games, and that's why I think Arcane Lineage is fun. But thanks for the feedback. I'll try some other turn-based games and see if my view on the game changes. And that's fair, and I think there's a lot of people out there that don't understand my criticisms, or they think that the game just isn't for me. We can just go back to the person from earlier that was saying, hey, who the hell suggested this for Eclipse? Put them on DDOS, because people just assume that I'm completely against games where you need to explore, or I'm completely against games that are turn-based strategies, or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. And no, it goes far from that, and I can cite plenty of examples of games where you need to explore that I love. I mean, it's hard to give a turn-based strategy game a 10 out of 10 and then think that I don't like turn-based strategy games, but a lot of people don't see those videos because, unlike the Roblox videos, that's a real game, so people didn't watch it. But I think there's a lot of people out there that are sort of jumping on the bandwagon of defending this game as if it's their firstborn child that just haven't played alternatives. They haven't played real games, and so they think that this is good when, oh boy, no, it is not. Anyways, that's the end of the stupid section of the Daily Dose of Stupid. I want to keep up the trend of leaving on people who put kind or funny comments towards the end, just so we can have a bit of a palate cleanser and I can showcase some community members. So we're going to do that. The first comment is from NutDealer9836, who says, can't wait for a DDoS video off of the people defending this game. Yep, here we are. Welcome to it. Next up is from A. Morris John Wendell. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And they said, another W review Eclipse. Don't listen to the people that call your reviews dumb. Believe me, if I listened to all of the people who called my reviews dumb and listened to all of the blowback that I get every single time I do one of these, well, I wouldn't be here. That's for damn sure. Being a genuine sort of critic on Roblox is basically opening the floodgates to hate beyond imagine, because children are fucking mean. Roblox is filled with children, and when you insult children's favorite thing, they are not happy about it. I consume, but I'm not gonna read that because people are gonna soundboard it. What a disgusting username. But anyways, they said he meant that it didn't learn from the mistakes Deepwoken made and that it has some of the same issues, aka bad new player experience. Not sure how so many people interpret this video the wrong way. I really wish I knew, but people are not capable of using context clues whatsoever. as evidenced by the video. And so I don't know how people manage to interpret it in so many different ways, but yes, that is correct. I meant that it didn't learn from the mistakes that Deepwoken has made. It was pretty cut and dry, I thought, but I guess not. Teddy8807 says, it's for the immersion, Eclipse! It's for the immersion! And yeah, I know this is satire, but I left it on here because surprisingly, when I told people, don't go down there and tell me it's for the immersion, people actually didn't. They stayed away from that, thankfully. So the only comments that were in the comment section talking about it were, were people making fun of it like this guy. And then the last comment on here is from Golden Boy, who says, yeah, I kind of figured you'd say all that. And to be honest, I 100% agree with you. The only reason I was hooked on the game was because I had a guide, my friends I played with, who could help me out. And you know what? That's something that I think a lot of people don't quite understand, is I make these videos criticizing the game design, you know? Like, what's wrong with the game? And I feel like a lot of people take these videos as personal attacks towards themselves, as if like I came on here and I was like, I'm gonna deliberately go out of my way to say, this game is poorly designed, which means you're not allowed to like it. You're allowed to acknowledge that the game is extremely flawed, want it to improve, but still have fun with it. The problems tend to stem from people either directly not acknowledging or accepting the flaws with the game, or defending the flaws with the game and not wanting them to be fixed, which just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think people understand, but I make these videos with the express purpose of telling people what's wrong with games, so that way people can fix them. If I was just here to complain, I would never offer any solutions, which is just not the case. But people don't get that. They just see the video, they're like, it's a negative video on this game. I have to argue with these things to the death, even though objectively speaking, if they were addressed, the game would be better for everybody. Like, the tutorial NPC spawns behind your character. Do you think that's good design? No. Would it hurt you if they moved it to in front of your character when you spawned? No. So why would you argue against that? I don't know, but people do, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, that's wrapping up the video. We're done here. I don't have anything else to say. Naturally, as always, if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't and you were featured, don't do those things. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.